So again, brothers and sisters, thank you so much for attending our online training tonight. This is purely limited on how to navigate Zoom platform and regarding CLP. So we're not talking about how to open or get into Zoom or log in or something like that, but this is more of the for the admin or who will be running the Zoom for the Christian Life program. So my name again is Jerry Mariano from Connecticut, one of the newest regional head, as I mentioned by Tito Romy, and I echo Tito Romy about this upcoming new CLP talks for the eight talks format. So if that will be laid out pretty soon by 2021, our works as new evangelizers will be a lot easier. So to me, I'm looking at my screen right now. We have about 740 strong CFC servant leaders. So it gives me a goosebump because I'm trying to visualize that this is like we're going out to war. This is DC 153 as mentioned by Brother Tofi, and we are training the warriors how to go out and evangelize. And COVID did not prevent us from going out there to really evangelize. So we thank you for the gift of this technology. And so let me start by sharing my screen here. All right. So our first, what we have to do is we really have to, when you are the admin, you have to set up your schedule from a desktop because you cannot do this stuff that I'm talking about on a cell phone or any device or iPad or uh, anything that's portable, but you have to do this on a browser or a desktop version. So first off is we have to check on our settings. By the way, brothers and sisters, if you have questions, save them for the last portion, and we will try to attend to that towards the end. So the first thing that you have to check is we need to check on the settings. Once you log in, this is your landing page on the Zoom. So you go to your left side and you will see under personal, this will be your settings here. Click on the settings, and under settings, you have three items here on the right. It says meeting, recording, and telephone. So what we're trying to do right now is setting up the meeting setup. So under meeting, you click on the security. The first thing we have to enable is the waiting room. I'm sure everyone has been led to the waiting room when you log in tonight. That's additional security measures for Zoom because you don't want just anybody to get in the room. So in the real world, this is like when you try to get into a doctor's appointment, you have to be in the waiting room, right, before you get into the observation room. So this is like the virtual waiting room. So we want to choose everyone here, choose which participants to place in the waiting room. So we need to put everybody in the waiting room before they can get into the main meeting room. This is also where you want to customize the title, logo, and description of the waiting room. I'm gonna have to do that later when I show this to you. So here, this is where you update the description of the meeting room. You can customize it to however you want to do it. For this training, I have saved the CFC logo for the most recent conference, and then I have edited what they can see. So imagine if we are participants going into this CLP, and on the waiting room, they would see, we're excited to see you. We prayed for you and welcome to the Christian Life program. What would they feel, right? So that's in order for them to really feel good about it. Another area what we need to tweak is under in meeting advance, we have to enable the breakout room. This breakout room pertains to when we have the conference or on the real world. So we're talking about virtual and real world. So we are now in a virtual scenario or environment. So remember, brothers and sisters, when we have conferences or when you do your CLP, and after the talk, there is a discussion group, right? And in the real world, you have to separate the brothers and the sisters. So this is where we're going to do the task. So we will create a virtual breakout rooms where we will separate the brothers from the sisters. And this is where you will have to tweak that settings here. So under in meeting advance, you have to enable the breakout room and then allow hosts to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. Next would be still under in meeting advance, you will have to enable the virtual background. This is highly recommended because when we did our original CLP, we as a part of the service team, we have very similar uh, virtual background where we chose a certain logo behind us so that participants can, when they see that, oh, Jerry is part of the service team. Oh, brother Jojo is part of the service team. So that is, again, this is an option for you, but I highly recommend to do that. Then, of course, you wanna, in case you reach out, well, we are using an enterprise account which can accommodate over 100 participants. But on a smaller scale, when if you have a pro account or subscription, you will only have at least 100 participants. So if you go over that, you would want to have the ability to live stream that session. So this is where you want to tweak that. So we need to enable a live stream meetings. So I check out Facebook and YouTube under here. And then further down under email notification. So this is the fun part, and you will see it later as I go through along. You have to enable this area when attendees join meeting before the host. So if you are the admin, you will be notified if somebody is getting in there even before you open the meeting room. And then when a meeting is canceled, you want the host to be notified as well as the participants. So we're gonna have to go through that in my next pages here. And of course, after that, you have to uh, hit save, and then you will be reverted back to this page where we all started. Under that settings, all the way up is the meetings section. This is where you will schedule now your CLP or Christian Life program. To do that, you have to click on this, schedule a new meeting. Just let me know if I'm going too fast, okay? For the service team, just either send me a note or you can just unmute yourself and let me know if I'm going too fast. I cannot read the text messages or the chat box right now. So under topic, I have entered here for purpose of this training, Christian Life program. Description is totally optional. It's all up to you, but it's there if you want to use that. So for here, I entered CLP for CFC, Singles, Hold, and Sold Ministries. Like Echo Tito Romy about it's going to be a mega CLP because the material for CFC, Singles, and Hold and Sold is similar. When is that? I put here a future date, obviously, so I entered September 5. That's when we all agreed to have this CLP. And then I entered 1 o'clock p.m. here. Duration would be at least 2.5 hours commitment. Time zone is so important now because this is all virtual, brothers and sisters. So you might have participants from another time zone. So it's important that you will have to set up the time zone. And I said, and we know that this will be a recurring meeting. So I click recurring here, very important, because if you don't, you will have to schedule this 12 times. If you click recurring here, you will use the same meeting ID and the same password all the time. So it's very important to click this recurring meeting. And of course, we said it's going to be weekly. And I said here it's weekly and it's repeated once a week. So either once a week or twice a week, you can do that. And this is where you will do it. You will have to customize it here on the next section. So I'm just showing like a screen by screen snapshot of the entire page of your desktop here. So if you go down a little bit, that it says here recurring. and we said we will do the CLP every week, and then how often, which day of the week you can set it up here. So for this example, I entered Saturday, and then I click 12 occurrences, meaning every Saturday of the week we will have this CLP by 1 p.m. and to start on September 5. Okay, moving on. Registration. This is the fun part that is available for us, and not a lot is using this feature of Zoom, but this is definitely a highly recommended feature for us to navigate, and you will see the benefits of why we need to have everybody register once they chime in. So I click that, and then I chose attendees register once and can attend any of the occurrences. Again, there are other options. So for purpose of this training, we chose the first option here. And then a passcode. Right now, Zoom has implemented the waiting room plus you have to have a passcode. So again, this is also, you can customize it. So I put here CLP 20K. So for 20,000 members, instead of a random numbers of series of numbers, this is a lot easier for the service team and as well as the participants to remember. And then of course for video, you may want to have the host and the participants to turn on their video when they come in. And audio is that I chose both because I want everybody to have the option of telephone and or computer audio. Who wants options here? I do. All right, that's supposed to be a joke. Okay, moving on. Under meeting options, I said we want to mute participants when they enter. The beauty of this is, imagine brothers and sisters, when the session, let's say the CLP talk is ongoing and people are coming in, you can see or you can hear a ding. And that will be annoying to the speaker as well as for the other participants. In order to prevent that from being happening, you have to check on this part here. It says mute participants.
That's really nice.
All right. Then after this, you need to hit save so that all your um, uh, details would be saved in the system. All right. So once you save that, it will revert you back to the first page. Okay. So obviously, this is just a sample of my screen, my personal screen. I have a lot, so I just block all the items. So obviously, it's a future event. So you may want to check the details. So you have to double click again on this word Christian life here. The reason why sometimes you might miss something when you were trying to set up the schedule, and this is where you will have the chance to double check everything. Okay, so let's double click on this Christian life program. Okay, so we know that the topic is Christian life, so that's correct. So we said that there's a description. The time is said is September 5, so that's okay. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time. We said there would be 12 occurrences. And the beauty of this is you can hit add to Google Calendar and it will be added to your Google Calendar. That's the meeting ID, and then the password is all, everything here. And then this link here, this is where you will copy the invitation to your clipboard and you will have the ability to send that link either Messenger, Facebook, or email. So this is an example of when you click that, you will have to go to this link, or you also have the ability to share this additional description here. All right, and then I just want to show here the occurrences here. So if I click show all occurrences here, it will give me all the details of the dates, the time, and we said this will be a 12 occurrences. So this will end by November 7. So let's say, brothers and sisters, during the course of the CLP, and right before you close the day, you will have to agree and let the participants know and said, oh, some people are not available by October 3rd. And majority of them, in fact, are not available. So what are you going to do? This is where you can go back here and edit the time. So let's say they said they will be available by 3 p.m. So you come here and hit edit and change the date. I mean, change the time. So maybe to 3 p.m. Once you save that, all those who have registered prior to this event will receive an email. And that's the beauty of why we have to have those people register for this event. The system will do the effort for you. Instead of calling each and everyone, they will receive an email alert that the October 3rd event has been modified to start by 3 p.m. All right. So other options here that we will check is that we muted participants upon their entry. And so once everything is okay, that's good to go. And then this is the fun part I was talking about earlier. Under registration, down below this whole review that we're doing, we can edit the way your participants are trying to register. So this is where you will go. So if you hit edit here, you will be directed to another settings where you can change, you can modify, and then you can add if you want to do some questions and all that. And that's the place where you will do that. I just want to have a quick overview of how we did our regional CLP. You notice that I have here 514 attendees. So this was our statistics when we ended up our CLP. This means I had, overall the course of that CLP, we had 514 participants who registered for that event. And the beauty of this is if you hit view here, you will have this database that you have collected. So again, I have masked all the other important items here, but just to show you the beauty of Zoom and its capability to gather database for your participants. So let's try to go through the registration process. And we want to try to edit the options of the registration options. So under registration options, you will have 3 items that if you want to check or tweak. So under approval, I highly recommend to do it as automatically approved. So imagine if you are the admin running this CLP, you may want to have it automatically approved and somebody try to register or somebody registered. Otherwise, you will have to keep an eye on your email to manually approve every single person that will register. So that's another, like a full-time job to do that. So Zoom is giving you the option to automatically approve the registration process. And then other options here would say, allow attendees to join from multiple devices. You may want to check that so that sometimes if participants are traveling, they can still go on and attend, and they can use their device or mobile devices. And of course, you can also click that they can use or social share buttons on their registration page. Next would be the questions. On the registration page, you will have the ability to choose what are the questions you want to ask for each participant. The default one is their first name and email address. So if you might want to include the last name, you can also do that. And all the rest here, these are oops, sorry, I'm going too fast. These are the other options of questions that you can choose. The only downside here is that if you select everything here, so every single person that tries to chime in, they will have to answer this question. So that's a lot. So for this training, I just selected one as additional on top of first name and email address. And of course, if you want to customize your questions, those are not here. So you can also do that. So you go over to that next item under custom questions, and then you can put what kind of questions you may want to ask. And this is where you will enter everything. Then after that, you hit save all. And when a participants register, this is the pop-up window that they will receive, that they have registered for a CLP, Oh, this is like this. This was the training I used when I trained CFC New York. That's why this description is a little bit different. And they will be given all the different dates of the events, and then this is the URL to join. If they click that, they will be directed to the event. And of course, if they definitely they will give their email address because it's one of the requirements question. This is what they get when they receive their email. So it says, "Hi, Jerry Mariano. Thank you for registering for CLP. If I have any question, I can submit that question too." Again, this is the best part. You can customize that. I just mask it, but you can delegate somebody to answer those questions if participants have questions on the registration process of, or if they have any other questions regarding CFC. So you may want to use the area head email account or whoever is the team leader. And then there's also an option here that says click here to join at the bottom. This means they can always go back to this email, and when it's time to join the event, they can just click over here without entering the password, and then they will be directed to the meeting room. Like most of us, when we see that click here to join, we might probably accidentally hit it. And if you do that, this is the message that they will get. Remember we said we disabled the participants can join before the meeting. This is what they will get. So it will tell you, please wait for the host to start this meeting. This is a recurring meeting. And because we didn't check that off. And of course you want to do that instead of, you don't want participants to be in the meeting room ahead of you, to be like, so that you can prepare before the participants come in. And this is where you may want to do that. So remember, we did not check this portion. That's why they received that message when they try to hit that link. Again, moving on. Remember when we said at the very beginning, we customized this waiting room. So this is now your waiting room, brothers and sisters. This is how we customize it. So when the meeting has started and participants are chiming in, this is what they will see. So if I'm the participants, I imagine myself a newbie here trying to enter the room. This is what I see. Oh wow, they've been praying for me to come. They've been praying for this is like cool because they are really welcoming me to join the Christian Life program. And again, just to give you a refresher, this is where I did that. I click here under this is in the beginning of my slide. Enable the waiting room and customize it here. Okay. So that's the waiting room. Next would be the email settings. Remember the email message that they receive? Any participants that just registered will receive an email, and this is where you will tweak that portion here. That if they have any questions, they can reach to somebody, and this is where you can tweak that. So if you hit edit here, you can change the name and the email address. All right, and then hit save. And of course, this is now what they will see. Again, this is just another, this was an old slide that I used way back when I had the training for CFC New York. But this is just the way how it looks like. So if they want to submit their questions to, let's say, Romy Dakayanan, and would be his email address. All right, so how would you like to have the CFC banner in the email as well as any other logo, right? I would like to do that. That's where we call branding. And this is part of our evangelization effort so that the participants will be familiarized of what kind of organizations that we're running to, or what are these logos. So as early as emails, like stationaries, correspondences, they will see that we are actually a huge organization. Imagine emails are being customized. And in Zoom, that is an option that you can use. So again, how we do that is under branding here. So registration email, and this is where you will upload those images. The banner, you have to upload your banner, and then of course logo. All right, moving on would be poll. Well, I didn't create any poll for this purpose of training, but you have the ability to do that here. So let's say you want to have a survey at the end of each talk, you can also do that here. You want to enter whatever questions you have, and then you have to put all the answers here so that the participants can just choose. And then of course, we know that we said that we want to live stream this just in case via Facebook or YouTube. All right, that's just the setup, brothers and sisters. Kind of take a lot to absorb, but once you get the hang of it, it would be a lot easier. And remember, you only set it up as one time because we said that it's going to be a recurring event for 12 times. So if you forget to click that as a recurring event, then you have to do this 12 times. That's a lot, right? Now we are ready to prepare for the meeting. So what do we do? So now, come September 5, we're ready to do the meeting. So these are my highly recommended materials or things to prepare. Imagine I'm running or I'm holding the meeting room for, I'm looking at my screen right now for 733 participants. So you have a lot of juggling activity as the admin. So what you have to do is you have to have a main laptop to run the Zoom meeting. So I have a main laptop and I have another device, could be another laptop, to use for sharing files. So I'm not saying that you have to buy two laptops, but if you have a spare laptop, it would be best to have another extra device because when you're running things, you could be juggling matters, you could be sharing files for the speaker, you could be sharing files for participants hangouts. So in order to have a smoother a presentation, I would suggest to have another laptop just for sharing. And you have to make it as a co-host that whatever ID that registered for that device. And then another extra device. This could be your another cell phone. It's just a participant's view so that I would know what you can see when I'm the presenter. So in fact, I just want to show you I have another extra device here. So I'm not asking the rest of the participants or the rest of the service team if can you see my screen because I can see what you can see. That's the beauty of this. So that's the item number 3. So every time I do a meeting, I do a presentation, I have an extra device and and that's where the use of this one. And of course, another extra device to communicate with the rest of the service team because you don't want to use the same device that as participants view while you are trying to communicate with the rest of the CLP team. Say sometimes text messages will be flying around what to do. Sometimes I forget that I'm muted and they trying to tell me, oh, you're muted, and through this cell phone I would know that's how we will communicate. We don't want the participants to see what we're trying to do because remember this is we are selling CFC to them and we may want the presentation to be as perfect as possible. And of course, we want to have a reliable internet connection. Right now, I'm connected to a local area network because I know this would be a huge event. In fact, now I have about 731 participants. So I'm holding the entire meeting room. So in case I lost connection here, so praise God that I have this connection, right? Of course, battery pack, chargers, my devices are connected and so all that. And of course, green screen if you have, but if you don't have, it's not a requirement so that you can have a choice of a virtual background. And of course, very important, it's a very good lighting. I have a LED lamp in front of me. You can see I'm a little bit like in front of me is a LED lamp, table lamp, and another my lamp my light in the room is also LED. The
LED, yeah.
beauty of that is when you're
LED
the
type
speaker,
na.
you want your face to be like clear, and so that your participants can see
LED.
properly. And of course, as a little bit of just want to share best practices. When you're the speaker, you may want to look into the computer's, I would say, camera instead of you looking at the screen. So right now I'm trying to read my material, and so you can see that my eyes is on the screen, right? But if I'm looking right now, I'm looking at the camera of my laptop. I can, as if we're in the real world, I'm trying to connect to you, eye to eyes, eye to eye connection, so that I can connect with you. And it's the same thing in virtual. I should look into my computer's camera or my laptop's camera. So if I'm the speaker, my screen should be, at least my head is within my frame, uh, and then my background should be as neat as possible. And that's why it's advisable if you can do a virtual background so that they will not be disturbed. Some participants are not really listening to you anymore because they're trying to read what's on your, they're trying to look at what's on your background instead of listening to you. So in order to do that, you have to have a background, or at least to have a background. And then your frame should be, your head should reach the end of the frame, just like I'm doing now. And that's a good projection of, so that you can engage your participants. And of course, as I go through it here, all files should be open or already set up. My slides are already open. The participants' handouts are already open. All PDF files, the slides of the songs of the music mean already. Remember, you have all these materials because you are the admin. You're running the CLP. So the speakers talk, you have that as a backup in case they forget to bring their talk. You can share that. You can share the PowerPoint. And then, of course, a landing page. I'm going to talk about landing page later on my next slide. Then, of course, music means should chime in early. In the real world, when we have a CLP, all the service teams are coming in early to prepare, set up the visual, set up the audio. We also do it here in a virtual setting. We may want to make sure that Brother and Thing can be heard. His audio and acoustics is perfect, so that when they go out and do their blast, we can hear a good acoustics. And of course, the service team, we encourage to chime in at least an hour, just like in the real world. And then, of course, the team leader will delegate who is doing what. He could be the MC, and other team members should be co-hosts. The reason is, being a co-host is so important. In our last regional CLP, everybody is co-host, and for me, so that I can concentrate on just running the main part, my co-hosts can rename the participants. So remember, we had a regional CLP, so participants could be coming from any other areas or any states. So we assign them to rename participants, say somebody from New York, so they will put New York, so that when I assign them to their breakout rooms, it would be a lot easier for me. And then they can also unmute participants. They can also put back participants into the waiting room if they don't recognize somebody just chime in. Or there was a time they said that Zoom has been hacked and anybody can just show anything on your screen. So to prevent that, if we cannot ID a person that just chime in, they can move that person back to the waiting room. So that's what co-host can do. All right. So that's before the meeting, by the way. So it's all set. Everything is okay. Now we're ready to admit the participants in the waiting room. So as I come in and all the other participants are coming in as well, I can start renaming my screen name. This is where I go, rename it. And then if you're the admin, you will have, if you click the participants icon here, and you can see these three little dots here. If you click that, you will have another options here that you can just verify if the settings that you have entered are all being applied. So we said that we will mute every participant that come in, and then we enable or disable the sounds when somebody come in, and we enable the waiting room. So while the other service team are coming in, you may wanna double check all these bases here because you don't wanna be checking this when the meeting is ongoing because you will have you need to be concentrated or focused on the speaker because sometimes the speaker will need your assistance and you should be able to do that instantaneously. So people as co-hosts, this is what they can do. They can rename, they could put back anybody in the waiting room. They can even remove participants from the meeting completely. And sometimes this slide will tell you that if the internet is not reliable or the bandwidth is trying to disconnect you, this is one of the things that you can improve your connection uh, is to change or switch your audio to your phone. To do that is if you hover your mouse over here and you have an icon here that says the microphone, you can switch to phone audio. So instead of my voice going through the same bandwidth as the Zoom internet, it's taking a lot of bandwidth. That's why sometimes it's garbled or it's being stretched. And that's because I have a poor signal of my Wi-Fi maybe. So in order to help the system unload some of the bandwidth, you can switch to your phone and you can use the service of your cell phone. So to do that, I'm just gonna have a quick uh, switch of slides here. So when you hit the icon here, and this is the menu that will come out. So you want to select switch to phone audio here. And then these are the numbers, the dial numbers that you can dial. And then you need to make sure that you will dial the correct meeting ID and the participant ID so that it will sync to your name when you talk. It will be, they can see that it's you who is talking. And you would know that you are already using your phone instead of the device internet is when you see this icon. That's a telephone icon there. All right. And while waiting for the participants to come in, remember you came in early here to open the meeting room. The other service team are already in the room. So this is a very high time for you to create the breakout rooms. So as I mentioned earlier, the breakout room serves as your virtual breakout room. So this is where you will separate the brothers from the sisters. So if this is a mega CLP, imagine how many breakout rooms you will have to do. So to do that, on your screen, you will see that these four little boxes here group together. So click that, and this is the option that you can get. So for this training, I selected 3 rooms and then hit manually. You will always have the option to do it automatically, but that's hard because all the participants will be taken to random rooms automatically. So we will choose manually, and then you hit create rooms. So these are the breakout rooms. So you can rename the breakout rooms to, let's say this is a mega CLP. So I start SFC sisters room. I got the brothers room separated because we will separate them. And depending on the demography of the CLP, if you have hold, if you have sold, obviously there should be only one room. But if you have a lot of hold, just like what we had in the last regional CLP, we have multiple states joining, let's say Rhode Island, New York, and New Jersey. So I would have to create 3 rooms separately for separate area and put all the sisters or the handmaids into that room. So to rename that, you just need to hover your mouse on the right side and this will come out so you can rename it. And then the other options here that you will check is you may want to move all participants into breakout rooms automatically, meaning when you open the breakout rooms, they can move into these breakout rooms because you already assigned them to that room. And then you can also check allow participants to return to the main session at any time. And then uh, you can decide as a CLP team how many minutes you would give for the discussion group leader. Let's say there are 4 brothers in that room and one discussion group leader. So maybe if you can decide that each topic would be 5 minutes, then to probably put a time limit here for 30 minutes. So remember, we are trying to compress or be committed to whatever time we set to these participants. So let's say, all right, this CLP is only for 2.5 hours. So we have to have a limit on these breakout sessions as well. And of course, you may want to be notified when the time is up. In fact, in the breakout rooms, they would see a timestamp there that is running out when it's due, and that means you don't even have to say okay last 5 minutes because they can see from their screen as well. And then the countdown after closing the breakout rooms would be you have from 10 seconds to maybe a minute or even 2 minutes. So as soon as you close the rooms, they will have about 10 seconds to go back to the main session room. All right, so uh, I'm ready to. So now that's before the actual CLP session. So now we are now ready to accept the participants from the uh, waiting room. So now we're talking about the actual meeting or the actual CLP session. So for this, so this will be your host screen. Uh, okay. So even during the meeting or the session, you can still add rooms just in case more people came in, and then even if the session is still ongoing, you can do that here. But again, doing that is would you would be juggling stuff because you you should be focused on the speaker at this time instead of doing this. But you still have the ability to do that just in case you need to. Surgeons General are appointed by. And then over here, when you assign participants from this room, this is how you do it. So you click on this assign button here. When you click that, you will be given all the names of participants. So you just have to click their names and then they will be assigned into that particular breakout rooms. What if, Brother Jerry, I made a mistake instead of Marvy should be on breakout room 1, I accidentally put her into breakout room 2. That's easy too. So just hover on her name and you can, there's also an option that you can move her back or assign her to another room. All right. So now I'm ready to share my landing page. Say, participants already started coming in. They are now in the main meeting room. The team leader is now entertaining them, trying to make them comfortable. Like, okay, so this is the time to share the landing page. This is kind of like in the real world. This is what they see when they enter your meeting room. So this is what I call your landing page. So this is a customized, you can do anything what you want here. So I put here Christian Life Program. I put a nice welcome letter here, and then a set of reminders. And me as a participant, if this is what I see, this is like, wow, this is so professional. Like they have this a welcome a landing page here. Just like in the real world, you would have somebody singing already up front or somebody entertaining, or you have a welcome note on the board. So this is where that is that you can show. So that's what I call the landing page. And then as people come in, you would see here chiming in people. So your co-host should just review who is coming in and they can admit that. All right. So right now, if I have to stop my sharing, this is what I can see. I can see 709 participants here running, and this is our last regional CLP. We had this particular session, we had 51 participants. So imagine if you're holding this meeting room and you have a lot of people in there, there's a little bit of pressure. So that's why it's so important that you should be able to navigate it as smoothly as possible and with less pressure. So what if you are oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, brothers and sisters, let me just backtrack a little bit. When sharing your screen, by the way, let's say I'm sharing my landing page, you see this small square here that says share computer sound and optimize screen sharing for video clip. If Music Min has not started any music just yet or has not practiced the songs for that day, you can play any background music from your end, let's say a YouTube or whatever you have prepared. You can do that and by checking this off, this box here, share computer sound. And you can, and that's where you can manage to show the landing page with the music. So when people are chiming in, they can hear music, plus they can see this welcome page. But what about Brother Jerry if I'm trying to share a video or the speaker, the talk material has a video clip that you need to share. And this is how you will do it. It's very important to check this box as well. It says optimize screen sharing for video clip. So that remember Zoom has a little bit of lag, at least a second or 2 seconds. If you didn't check that, the movie is running, but the music is not synced with the movie. And this is how you will resolve that. You have to check this part here, optimize screen sharing for video clip before you share that particular video clip. Okay. So, and again, during the video clip presentation, you need to hide the floating meeting controls. Otherwise, this will be grayed out in the video clip, and you don't want to do that. So to prevent that from happening, you have to go immediately and under these three dots here that says more. If you click that, a lot of options will appear, and then just select hide floating meeting control. Okay, so now the talk is done, speaker is done. What you can do is you can also present the participant hands out before they be taken to their breakout rooms. So for me, since these materials are already ready from my laptop, in the beginning of the before the beginning of the CLP, I have these files already open. It's just ready to be shared. So I just have to click new share from my option and then look for this CLP participants hands out. So at this point, the DGLs would be ready to take a snapshot of the participants hands out. And now I'm ready to open the breakout rooms. So I'm gonna go back again into these options here and then open all rooms. So when I do that, the participants would see this message from their devices. So the host is inviting you to join, let's say, breakout room number 2, or if you have customized the Handmaids of the Lord room, then all they have to do is to hit join. Or sometimes if they miss this screen, they would just have to look for this icon that says join breakout rooms, and then all they have to do is to hit that join breakout room icon or button. How do you know if participants are or in fact in their breakout rooms? You would see if besides their names, you have this green light here. This means this particular participants is in that breakout rooms. You as the host, you can join that meeting room and you can even get out. So you may want to check how they're doing. You can join them and then you can leave the breakout rooms. So on your left, you would see that. So again, brothers and sisters, this is just an example of how to check or how to verify if participants are in fact in the breakout rooms, because sometimes you may you will have participants that will struggle which one to click, how to get in the breakout rooms. And this page will show you who are already in the breakout rooms. So if their names has a green light, that means they are already in the breakout rooms. So let's say time is up. It's time to go back to the main meeting session. So you close the you close the breakout rooms, and now you can see all breakout rooms will close in 6 seconds. Remember we said I put 10 seconds in the beginning as one of the options. So what they will see from their devices or screen is this is the page that they will see. Breakout rooms will close in 7 seconds, and then it says you will be returned to the main sessions automatically. So all they have to do is click leave now, and then another screen will appear. It says returning to main sessions. So again, brothers and sisters, this is like uh, well, again, it's virtual. So in the real world, like you are guiding them to go back to the main session or main meeting room. So this is just the page where they will say, oh, where did I go? Oh, why my screen just went out black. So now at least they're telling you that you are being directed to back to the main session. And so here we are. We're back to the main session. So that's the end of my training, brothers and sisters. So if you have any questions, I'm not sure if my co-hosts have. Let me stop my sharing here so we can all see each other again. If you want to take a picture of the contact numbers of the people I have entered here, I'll give you 5 seconds or 10 seconds to do that. Uh, Again, it's my honor to do this task, to train the warriors of this DC 153 to evangelize, and let's go and do the Great Commission, and let's go to the ends of the earth with this new technology. We have to embrace this technology because it's not going anywhere. This will be our new tool, and it will be here. It will stay here. It will be here to stay. So let me just stop my sharing now.